Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the Charleston Daily Mail's NFL Draft Event. Once again, I'm Derek Red, Marshall beat writer. To my far left is Chuck McGill, the sports editor and columnist of the Daily Mail, and between us is a native of Chesapeake, went to East Bank High School, never missed a snap as a long snapper at Marshall University in 4 years, was a 7th-round draft pick of the St. Louis Rams as a long snapper, played 141 games in the NFL from 2002 to 2011. He's back in here in the Kanawha Valley. Chris Massey, hey, thanks a lot for coming in, man.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Now, Chris, I would guess that being trying to get into the draft as a long snapper is kind of a long odd. What was it like for you to kind of go through that draft day, kind of knowing that special teams wasn't always a kind of a priority pick for NFL teams?
Well, I didn't have any expectations of getting drafted. There's always that shot, but it was a long shot. I knew the teams that was interested in me, and I already had my heart set on, pretty much signing a free agent deal. And, when the Rams called on day 2 of the NFL draft in 2002, it just made that much more sweeter.
So where were you when you got that call?
I was on G Street, Gatewood Avenue in Chesapeake, West Virginia, with my family and friends watching the draft.
And so were you just kind of like doing it, just watching this and kind of just like, hey, I watch the draft every year, and all of a sudden a phone rings, and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of surreal. I mean, we had a little draft party. I wouldn't get my hopes up. Like I said, I knew if there was a team that was going to take me in the 7th, it would have been St. Louis. And I got the phone call from Coach Martz, and, he introduced himself, and he said, we're going to take you with the next pick. And then all of a sudden my name popped up on the TV at the bottom of the screen, and, it was a dream come true.
And what are the keys to longevity to make in an NFL career?
Well, I think, first of all, you got to learn how to be a pro. And what I mean by that is you got to watch the guys that came before you that were successful and try to not emulate them, but take from them the good qualities and positive qualities that they provided in order to see what they did to have a long career. For me and for my position, it was more about accountability. The more you can be accountable to your teammates and your coaches and the organization that they trust you to get the job done, the longer you're obviously going to be there. So I think first and foremost, you got to learn how to be a pro on and off the field, and just surround yourself with positive people.
Growing up on that side of the river, I'm assuming you didn't dream of the days that you would be an NFL long snapper. But so, did you have those NFL aspirations when you were growing up, and kind of where did you see yourself in the future?
Well, I think every kid growing up that plays football dreams of playing in the NFL one day. From the time I was in Marmet Little League, my first dream was to play football at East Bank. And then when I found out that, Carl Lee and guys like Denny Hara and Carl Lee were, made it out of the area and went on and had successful careers in the National Football League, and that's when I started thinking about, hey, if they can do it, I can do it. And so I just I kept my dream close to me, and I seized the opportunity to go to Marshall, and they provided me with the platform to be successful, and here I am today.
So, but when does a person realize that that's their forte, that they can be a long snapper? When did it click for you that this is something you could specialize in?
Well, for me, it wasn't until I went to college, and I snapped at East Bank Junior High, snapped at East Bank High School, but I was a two-way player. I played fullback and linebacker, and I wanted to go and play Division I football as a middle linebacker, and unfortunately, I just wasn't. I didn't have that opportunity, and I walked on at Marshall, and I found out that my playing days at linebacker was going to be limited, and I was going to be a walk-on for 4 years, and didn't know whether or not I was going to be able to make it down there. And there was an opportunity to slide in and have an opportunity to play as a long snapper and get on the field, and that was my ultimate goal, was to prove that I could play Division I football, get on the field, and earn a scholarship, and more importantly, earn an education. And so the opportunity presented itself, and I took full advantage of it. And I didn't start thinking about even playing in NFL until probably the summer before my senior year. I thought there might be a possibility. Coach Pruitt, he had set me down and told me that he was going to make me a team captain, and told me that some teams was calling and asking about me, and that if I wanted it bad enough and hard enough, that I might have an opportunity to play.
You mentioned something I think is very important for this area. You started talking about the people who you saw make it to show you the way that this could be done. Mm-hmm. You see it here again. The talent is kind of on the upswing in the Kanawha Valley. You had Ryan Switzer was a 2-time Kennedy Award winner and was an All-American at North Carolina. We talked about Aaron Dobson, receiver at South Charleston, becomes an NFL draft pick, and now you see coaches coming around and seeing the talent. Is that a case of a lot of times a player seeing, hey, he did it, why can't I do it?
Yeah, it's huge for a kid growing up, in our area, especially, from up East Bank, from up Cabin Creek, from Elkview to, places where you don't get a whole lot of exposure, and to be able to have a positive influence in your life, to be able to think about, there's a way out and there's a way that you can reach your dreams because somebody else did it before you. You can take a look at that in any instance of football. I mean, I chose that path to go to Marshall because Brian Reed, who played at Capital, walked on to Marshall and earned a scholarship. So I didn't get a scholarship at Marshall. I had to walk on. I didn't even get invited to summer camp. So I was like, if Brian can go and walk on and make it and be a starter and an all-conference player, I can do it too. But the talent has always been here in the Kanawha Valley. We're never short of talent whatsoever, but the exposure's not there. And we need to get these kids a lot more exposure than what they're accustomed to because the talent's here.
You are going to be one of the newest inductees into the Marshall Athletic Hall of Fame. And you have people like Carly, like Byron Leftwich and Chad Pennington, people like that who have made that move to the NFL. What does that say about a place like Marshall, where maybe not the biggest place in the world, maybe not always the epicenter of college football, but a place where people can reach the level that they've always desired?
Well, Marshall's a great program, and they always say once you're a son of Marshall, you're always a son of Marshall, and that never speaks any more truth than my experience at Marshall, and all the help they've given me after my playing days has been over there, and to even be thought of in the same sentence as Carl Lee and Randy and Byron and Chad in the Athletic Hall of Fame is just, is just tremendous, and it just goes to show that you can do anything you want to do as long as you put your mind to it and seize every opportunity that comes before you. If you're willing to work hard enough for it, you can actually accomplish anything you want.